Hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. I'm Prince Ojong, your host. I'm very happy to welcome you to our show titled Speak of Africa. Last week, we told you there was a Sino-Africa summit taking place in Beijing, China. The meeting has come to an end. The summit has come to an end. The African presidents, like Alcoholic Anonymous, they left China with $51 billion in investment and loans. So these guys are very happy, right? It's like great Christmas for those guys. They're going to get a whole lot of money. China rolled out the red carpet. In fact, all those presidents were on cloud nine. Cloud nine, I'll tell you. Starting with Paul Biya of Cameroon, okay? Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré. Congo Brazzaville, you had Denis Sassou Nguesso. Congo DRC, you had Felix Tshisekedi. Djibouti, you have Ismail Lay. Somalia, you had Dr. Mohamed. Ethiopia, you had Abiy Ahmed. Ghana, you had Nana Akufo-Addo. Equatorial Guinea, you had Obiang Nguema. Kenya, you had William Ruto. Zimbabwe, you have Emerson Mnangagwa. Nigeria, of course, you had Bola Tinubu. Senegal, you have Bassirou Diomaye Faye. Guinea, you had Mamadi Doumbouya. Sudan, well, Sudan had a lot of problems. You know, the civil war is still going on in Sudan. Tanzania, you had the new lady who is president, okay, who took over from the bulldozer, Dr. Hassan. South Africa, you had Cyril Ramaphosa. So it was a big event, big time. I know the West is really envious of what was happening there because I don't think they can really match it. So the way the Chinese position everything, they position everything like we're in the same boat. Africa and China are in the same boat. They are fighting the same battle. China is the enemy of the West. Similarly, Africa is the enemy of the West. That's the way Xi Jinping presented the agenda. We're in all of this together. Western colonialism is making it impossible for Africa to develop. Kwame Nkrumah laid out exactly what imperialism is. He called neocolonialism the last stage of imperialism. Imperialism is when countries believe that they are powers, they are superpowers, they are imperial powers, so they can take advantage of smaller countries. It's like in the jungle, you have what we call survival of the fittest. Charles Darwin wrote this book back then, Origin of the Species, where you see the way life is in the jungle. The big survive. The big eat the small. And that's basically what is happening in the real world. So you can even see even Thomas Hobbes in his book titled Leviathan. He talks about the way the life is brutish. The small animals are eaten by the big animals. So it's the same thing that is happening in the world economy. The superpowers eat up the small countries in Africa. They have no chance. For so many years, since the early 60s, a lot of African countries were deceived to receive independence. What they received was just flag independence. They did not really have real sovereignty. They did not have real economic independence. The Western powers were still micromanaging their stuff. They were raping African countries. So now it's like they want to recolonize African countries. So China is saying, I want to save you from these Western countries. For so many years, you go to the West to borrow money. They ask you so many questions. They coach you. So they treat you like a baby. Come to China. China will give you money without any questions asked. And besides, China is going to treat you as an equal partner. So that's music to the ears of most of these African leaders. So they were parading in China just like guys who were drunk. The money made them drunk. So that's the atmosphere that we saw in China. Yet, when we look at everything, we ask ourselves, there's even a video one of you guys sent to us. It's talked about the miracle. Why is it that for so many years since independence, Africa is not developing? It's because of ourselves. We have to blame ourselves. I know in my last few videos, when I say we should raise ourselves by our own bootstraps, people challenge me and say, oh no, Prince Ojong, other countries do not do it alone. They got help from other countries. Yes, but they did not rely only on the help from other countries. They did a lot more to help themselves. Even heaven helps those who help themselves. I once said this and a pastor challenged me that no, it's not in the Bible. But that's the way the hands of God make things work in the real world. If you sleep, the world around you sleeps. If you work hard, things happen. So instead of Africans sitting and praying for a Messiah to come and rescue them from their calamity, they need to look at what happened in China. It's true, some of you guys challenged me and said, okay, China received a lot of help from the Soviet Union, but that alone did not really make China to emerge. Otherwise, why is it that the Soviet Union has not emerged? If your theory is so correct, why is it that the Soviet Union has not emerged? Why is it that China has become the world's second economy after the United States of America? It's because their leaders were foresighted, guys like Deng Xiaoping. They decided that they're going to create a system which models the capitalist system in the West, but they're going to keep their socialist underpinning. That's what they did. It's true, China received help from the Soviet Union, but that's not what made China to emerge. So contrary to what some of you guys are thinking, China emerged because their leaders took a conscious decision to change their country, to introduce a new capital system. As we've said on this show many times, capitalism is not a culture, it's a means of production. Max Weber, one of my former professors used to say, defines capitalism as a system of private enterprise that believes in the utilization of the factors of production to create unlimited amount of profits. That's what a capitalism is about. So it is not unique to the United States. Capitalism is not unique to the UK. Capitalism is not unique to France. Capitalism is a means of production. So the same way Americans learn to become a capitalist country, African countries can learn how to become capitalists and grow their economy. So instead of complaining and saying that, oh no, they got a lot of help from other places, that's how they were able to emerge. So when we have such mentality, we cannot grow. I love those who challenge us to debate, but we will still insist. Look at the United States of America. It's true. All of us know that the United States of America benefited a lot from slave labor. We know that already. But they were able to do this. Anything that you can do to move ahead, do it. Don't complain that, oh no, this guy got the help from here, that's why he did it. I cannot do it. That's a defeatist attitude, and that's what is holding Africa behind. We need to start learning. What can we learn from the miracle of China? China has emerged. Before, when I was in grad school, my professors used to talk about the Japan miracle, the Japan way of doing business, Japanese culture. We learned a lot of that in grad school. But today, China is the new story of success, and everybody is looking at the Chinese model. We've had the Asian tigers. They had their moment in the sun. Singapore and all those other countries. They had to change their systems. Even if they were colonial systems, they decided to change their education, the way they think. Because before you can start growing, you need to change the way you think. And I think that's what happened. We need to start having people who don't think the way we think. Okay? Which is why most of the time I invite people to debate. You don't have to think like me. But don't insult me and say, oh, you are biased, you are stupid. No, I don't insult you. I accept your opinion. It may be different from my opinion, but it's okay. I accept you as somebody who watches our channel, but I'll never insult you and tell you that you are dumb. Sometimes some of you make comments which make me feel like, wow, if I were not self-assured, I would feel bad about myself. But I have very good education, and I'm not just boasting. So if you want to debate, let's debate. So Africa, we want to learn from the example of China. Let's not go to China and behave as if we are Alcoholic Anonymous. We went to a party, they gave us a lot of drinks, we drink, we get drunk, and we go back home. No. China is dishing out a lot of money for the next 3 years. China has learned from its mistakes. Now China just wants to look at its interests. They gave a lot of loans to African countries that went bad. Then they also gave China a bad name. When China tried to be tough to collect on those loans, the African countries started making noise. Then the West joined in and said, we told you so. You're going to China. China is messing you up. So China realizes that they were getting a bad rap for making such big projects. So now China has slimmed down the kind of projects that they engage in Africa. They are not engaging in mega projects. But most of these African countries, they want big money. That's what a lot of the African leaders want. Take like Cameroon, La République du Cameroon. We start with Paul Biya. He was at this summit. Why? As much as we know this guy is really old and there are problems in his country, he decided to go to show international donors that he still has the groove. He's the one running the country. He's still in touch. He still has firm control. But we hear when he was in China, he felt sick. His team tried to play games and say, oh, he's just fatigued. The old man is tired. He's tired and he's sick. He should have stayed home. But he did not stay home because foreign donors want to see an active Paul Biya. That's why he came to this summit in China. And you saw him parading with Xi Jinping. Okay? But in Cameroon, the only silver lining is the soccer match between Cameroon and Namibia. After so much ado, so much wrangling between Samuel Eto'o, the president of FECAFOOT, and the Minister of Sports, Narcisse Mouel-Kombi, finally, Cameroon went to Garoua and played the game. They defeated Namibia 1-0. Now, that's the only positive stuff on Cameroon. But as you can see, the people in Ambazonia are still fighting. Some people told you before that, oh no, if you listen to the rhetoric of the Biafra folks, they will tell you that, oh, everything in Ambazonia is under control. We always tell you it's a lie. Because this week, we got information. Some people were saying that, oh, FM Nopiri is dead, but we hear the big attack that took place was organized by the famous FM Nopiri. He struck hard. You can see a lot of weapons he harvested from La République du Cameroon. Even though the Reverend Fathers of the Catholic Church are talking about peace, but why are they not telling Paul Biya to sue for peace? This makes us feel like a lot of these Reverend Fathers are not for justice. If you are talking to the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, you want them to lay down their arms, you want them to make peace. Why are you not telling the Paul Biya government to do the same? Why not? You are a man of God, you have to be fair. But because you pick up crumbs from the table of Paul Biya, you don't want to tell them something that will make them Biya angry and stop giving you food. Next, we'll take you to Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso is not to be left behind. They are really struggling with jihadist activity, and we say it's not an easy problem. Ibrahim Traoré inherited a serious problem, and he's making his best effort to solve this problem, but he's trying. So let me say that he's trying. Some of you are saying that I'm not praising him. I don't believe in hero worshipping, so I don't believe in heroes. I like to say the truth. He's making an effort, but the effort is not good enough because a lot of people are still dying in Burkina Faso. The jihadists are still striking with joyful abandon. So let's get this straight. Congo Brazzaville. Well, Denis Sassou Nguesso was in China. He's going to get a lot of these billions. Is he going to develop his country? It remains to be seen. When you look at him, he's one of those old dictators, sit-tight dictators. He doesn't want anybody to take over from him in Congo Brazzaville.
Welcome to Ayuk Tax Service. We are tax professionals at your service. Our services include tax returns, payroll, bookkeeping, business planning. We provide professional service, years of experience, and are proud to serve your business. Get your maximum tax refund with 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland 20901. Contact us at 240-350-1131. Fax 240-556-0535. Or email service@ayuktaxservice.com. Our hours of operation are weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and weekends 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. For more information, please visit us online at www.ayuktaxservice.com.
Then what about Congo DRC? Well, Felix Tshisekedi too was there, but the problem we see in Congo DRC is people are raping this country. Herman Cohen, the former U.S. Secretary of State for Africa, made some comments that Felix Tshisekedi is trying, he's really making the international community know about the problem in Congo. Because people keep asking, why is it that a big country like Congo DRC, with a big army, cannot fight and defeat M23, which is a proxy supported by a small Rwanda? Well, what people don't understand is Rwanda is getting a lot of support from countries like the United States of America and even from a country like France. So they're using a lot of weapons that are smuggled into Rwanda, then they are used in the east. That's why the M23 can fight and defeat the Congolese army. So we want you to know this. Djibouti. Well, Djibouti has announced that they are willing to give Ethiopia access to their seaport. Is this going to solve the problem between Somalia and Ethiopia? We don't think so. So let's just watch. What about Ghana? Well, in Ghana, we know that Nana Akufo-Addo was in Beijing for the Sino-African Summit. He's going to get some billions. Is he going to use these billions to help the people of Ghana? That's a question for inquiring minds. Equatorial Guinea. Obiangema made his presence felt in Beijing. He has been in power for so long, but the foreign powers, the multinational corporations, are enjoying the fruit of oil in that country. The average citizen of that country does not really benefit from the oil wealth. It's a shame. Now, Obiangema is in China. He will receive all these billions. What's he going to do with the billions? Is this money not going to end up in his pocket? Is this going to be used to help the people of Equatorial Guinea? That's the question some of you are asking us to raise, and we're raising it. Kenya. Yeah, Kenya is one of those countries that is heavily indebted to China. William Ruto made his presence felt during the Sino-African Summit. He was sitting next to Xi Jinping. But you should remember, when you had protests in Kenya a few months ago, it was because the people felt that William Ruto was borrowing too much money from China. Kenya was saddled with too much debt, and Kenya was looking for ways to start repaying this debt, which is why they wanted to increase the amount of tax they levied on the Kenyan people. The youth was like, Generation Z said, no, We cannot accept it. So William Ruto had to back down. Yet, William Ruto is asking for more credit from China to continue the building of a mega project such as railroads. Is this not going to cause more problem for Kenya? That's what we think. Then what about Zimbabwe? Yes, MSc Nangagwa was in China, Beijing, for the summit. You saw him with his trademark cloth on his suit. That country is not doing well. They've tried to change currency. They've tried to do different things, but we know that country is not doing well. Now he's going to get credit from China. Is he going to use this money to help the economy of his country? The country has a lot of minerals. So we know that he's going to exchange these minerals and the people will get nothing. And one of the problems we see with a lot of these loans from China is to draw the attention of Xi Jinping that we need to work on this. We need to deal with this trade deficit. Okay? Trade deficit is a serious problem. Otherwise, we're never going to get balance of payments. Okay? So that's a problem. What about Nigeria? Bola Tinubu was feted as a big guy, but his people are hungry. Inflation is rife in Nigeria, and the people are complaining. They need solutions fast. The oil wealth is not really spreading. People are stealing this money, and it's not touching the average person. So it's a big problem. And of course, the security crisis remains in Nigeria, where you see how Boko Haram striking at will where they want. The kidnappers are there. They strike at their leisure. Okay?
Tired of waiting in long lines at the emergency room or your doctor's office? You should be. Why wait in long lines for care? It's time for you to come to Lucille Urgent Care. Real care, no waiting. Lucille Urgent Care, the best place for true and loving care. Service at Lucille Urgent Care is convenient, fast, time efficient, affordable, accessible, transparent, and cost effective. Royal treatment is your right. Indeed, it's not just a privilege or pejorative. Skip the emergency room's long lines, kiss the ER goodbye, say farewell to your old doctor's office, pay less, save time, enjoy the excitement of convenience, receive immediate treatment, get the healthcare you need quickly and affordably. Lucille Urgent Care offers many express services: rapid COVID-19 testing, on-site prescription, preventative lab services, imaging and x-rays, urgent medical treatment for common illnesses and injuries, routine vaccines and flu shots, work-related injury services, pre-employment, occupational, annual, and sports physicals, immigration exams, and much more. Same-day treatment, rapid lab results, extended hours, weekend hours, no appointment necessary, no insurance necessary, no doctor necessary, walk-ins accepted, telemedicine available. We are open 7 days a week with evening and weekend hours. We are located in Maryland. Lucille Urgent Care, 903 Half York Road, Towson, Maryland, 21204. Website, lucilleuc.com. Call at 443-275-1286 or 301-593-4897.
Senegal. Well, Bassirou Diomaye Faye is still going through a honeymoon phase. He also was sitting next to Xi Jinping of China. But at least the people are giving him the honeymoon treatment. Let us see what he can do. But already the media in his country is not happy with the way his prime minister is handling things. They feel they are trying to suppress free speech. But what is he going to do? Because Senegal also has a lot of natural resources. But how are they going to trade these natural resources for loans they get from China? So we are watching. So the days of getting money from China in backroom deals are over. Generation Z is holding all these leaders accountable. They want to see what they're doing with the money. Then what about Sudan? The war in Sudan rages on. General Benham and Hemeti are not trying to solve this problem. So the problem persists. A lot more people are dying. It looks like the international community has just ignored this problem. Let Africans kill themselves. That's what most of them are saying. And the problem persists. What about Tanzania? Well, Madam Hassan of Tanzania, the president, was there at the conference. She was also sitting in front, and we saw her. But We hope she can be like Magufuli, the bulldozer. Magufuli made a name for himself because he wanted loans made with China to be transparent. He wanted the terms to be better. A lot of people gave him a bad name. They even suspect he was killed because he was trying to make sure that he fights for his people. But we've looked at this, so we've looked at the entire African spectrum. So how can Africa learn from China? One, you may not learn much about democracy because China is a dictatorship. But at least you can learn a lot from the economy. You have to learn that in economics, the first issue that you learn in economics is the concept of scarcity. You have to understand that because economics is a study of limited resources, we have to make good of the limited resources that we have. These resources are scarce. Let us not behave like agricultural products are infinite. Let us not behave like natural resources are infinite. They are finite. So we have to make the best of these resources. That's what we do if we are thinking in economic terms. Economics always assumes human beings are rational in their thinking. But as we've shown you, a lot of African leaders are not rational. Okay? They just want to feel good. A lot of them are idiots. They're not rational. Okay? But economic theory assumes that they are rational in the way they do things. If they are rational, then they'll be able to learn how to replicate or model the Chinese miracle. The economic miracle is based on production. You have to produce. We have to start thinking about a production economy, an export economy. We produce more to export to other countries. We have to lessen the amount of consumption. Instead of ordering too many things from China that we don't need, we better produce our own stuff, then import less from China so that we can have a surplus trade with China. That's what our leaders should be aiming for. You want to have surplus trade with China. When you have too much debt, you do business with China, then you owe China a whole lot. That's not a nice thing. So we need to learn from this trade imbalance. Then fair trade. China doesn't trade fair. So we need to tell China, just the way Cyril Ramaphosa has been saying, we need you now to be fair in the way you trade with us. If you can do this, it will help us a lot. And we can now learn modeling. So I repeat, let us not be wrapped up in the myopic way of thinking that, oh, China got a lot of help from the Soviet Union. That's why China developed and became a miracle. That's not true. I don't know which professor taught you that, Ms. Akinyemi. China grew because they made a conscious decision that they want to change the economic system. They did not just rely on the loans and the debt or the money the Soviet Union gave to them. They changed their country and they engaged in production. That's what changed the country and made China prosperous today. It's not just because China got help from the Soviet Union. So that's a fallacy. Any professor who tells you that, that's wrong. It's not correct. Okay? Thank you very much. But we have a live show coming up on the 28th of September. You can be anywhere and you'll be able to attend this live show. Go to our comment section and say, Prince Ojong, send me the link of the live show, and I will text the link to you on YouTube. So just go in the comment section and say, Prince Ojong, send me the link of the live show. So you can be in Africa, you can be in China, and you'll be able to attend this live show. We want to start it so that we can have a way to engage our people. We're using StreamYard. StreamYard is a platform we are using. We're already advertising this show on eventbrite.com. You can see a lot of information there. For the first show, we're going to be talking about the coup d'etat complex, the coup d'etat phenomenon in Africa. So we're inviting you to be ready to discuss this show and this problem. May God bless you.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.